EU opened up the skies, blowing aviation regulation into thin air. The booming budget airlines took off, with Britain in the EU driving seat delivering this deregulation. Today, it can be cheaper to fly to Croatia than get a train from here to Clacton. What gets agreed and written down when Brexit finally gets defined will have a wide impact for years. 1 in 4 vets in Britain come from the continent. Here at the Adam Brooks for the Animal World, nearly 2/3 are from elsewhere in the EU.
So we are about 40 specialists working here, and we lost about 3 of them mostly due to Brexit.
This report essentially is a parliamentary autopsy by MPs from all parties into the 3rd franchise failure by a private company in 12 years on the railway line that generates the most cash in the country. Yes, Virgin Trains East Coast was over-optimistic, the Transport Select Committee concluded. The main company, Stagecoach, thought that with Virgin on board, that brand could create razzmatazz that would see passenger numbers grow by 10% a year. They didn't, and they couldn't pay the amount of money they'd promised the government for the privilege of running the service from here in Stevenage. The last CQC report said some patients were at risk of harm, routine operations were cancelled, and surgery was one of the areas rated red for inadequate. And whilst today's CQC report says Colchester requires improvement, there have been some remarkable changes. Surgery is one of the areas now rated green for good. Janine, within the next hour we should find out who is going to replace the former leader John Klempner on Harlow Council. In response to this interview, the new leader, Emma Toll, has said that she's sad that John Klempner decided to resign, but it is his decision and that the local Labour Party just wants to move on. Well, in this first interview that he's given, I asked him why he decided to quit.
The Labour Party is a deeply unpleasant place right now. And I do worry for the future of the Labour Party, and I worry because of that for the future of the country. If I'm being optimistic, I might say, the Labour Party might come to its senses nationally. That'll take at least a decade.
The NHS and the ambulance service in the east are already feeling the pressure of winter.
We are just going to wait.
We arrive at Peterborough Hospital and there is a queue.
Today there was like 3-4 ambulances all available on the ambulance station when we left for our particular call, and then within a space of 15 minutes we're all being tasked to jobs and we're all at the hospital at the same time, which is very frustrating because there's sort of 6 or 7 resources here which can't respond to any other calls.
One of the main strains on the ambulance service at this time of year is when hospitals have no free beds and A&E is full. It means ambulances can be waiting outside A&E queuing to offload their patients. Just last week there were 522 incidents where ambulances had to wait longer than half an hour. And 200 of those were here at Peterborough Hospital and Hinchingbrooke. He was found 150 miles away in England. The council then decided he should return to a secure mental health bed. But at the time of our interview, the boy's father was told this.
There's no bed available in England, Wales or Scotland. He needs that secure bed. I understand that. He needs that now. He needs that immediately. I just think it's just a matter of time before something serious happens to him.
It's iconic of British food brands, which has had Norwich on its name since then, is coming to an end. As you say, 113 jobs going, most of those and the bulk of the operation going to Burton-on-Trent. It's arguably one of the most reliable things on the railway, the annual New Year fare increase. Today, prices have gone up on average by 3%. So for commuters heading to London from Cambridge, they have entered the £5,000 club, as the annual season ticket has gone up by £153. From Northampton, people are paying £5,780, a rise of £185.
Migration has been answered. We're all a bit frightened of it because there's just too many people smothering all countries, not just us, Europe as well. But we do need the free market. End of. Do a good job, Theresa May. Don't let us down.
Our future with the EU is far from black and white.
This morning I've spoken to 100 people here in Hertfordshire. 70% want Theresa May to get as much single market access as she possibly can, versus 30% who want her to control our borders, control the number of people coming from the EU.
Unlike North Hertfordshire, here in Bedfordshire they voted Leave. This high-end British manufacturer has been operating since the Industrial Revolution began. Hayward Tyler is reliant on the single market for its components. 70% come from the EU, but 85% of their finished goods are exported to non-EU countries. Overall, the plummeting pound caused by Brexit has had a positive effect, but the boss has concerns.
Will you be resigning, Ms Olasanya? Will you be standing down as an MP? The jury thought so too. They found her guilty of lying. She and her brother will be sentenced in the new year. If she gets a custodial sentence, she would be the first female British MP to go to prison. Have you got anything to say to your constituents, Ms Olasanya?